It's the 8th exciting season for cable's most successful sports series. Stay tuned for football's finest hour on Inside the NFL.
Once in a long while, a motion picture so eloquently expressive and technically exquisite comes along that one is tempted to hail it as being near perfect. Such a film is Gandhi. In a film epic that won 8 Academy Awards comes the story of a homespun Hindu who shook the British Empire. It is full of scenes that catch the emotions by surprise. A simple man of peace altered the fate of India, and the world would never be the same. The real devastating miracle of Gandhi is the overwhelming performance by Ben Kingsley.
I've traveled so far, and all I've done is come back home.
Martin Sheen, John Gielgud, Trevor Howard, Candice Bergen, and Ben Kingsley in a motion picture event we are proud to present. Gandhi. Tomorrow on HBO.
This line is not waiting for let's make a deal. They're eagerly awaiting to be shot at.
Provocative. On target. Extinguished and able to get the news even under fire.
Hey, what are you doing in here? Get out of here, you media slut.
Who are these guys?
We have the right to go anywhere we want. We are the investigators.
The investigators, crusading reporters of the air.
We're on the street and on the screen.
The Investigators, Sunday on HBO.
I'm Dan Ingram.
And I'm Joyce Gordon, here to tell you about a special edition of Coming Attractions.
Featuring movies made especially for HBO that will premiere in the months ahead.
From political dramas that mirror today's headlines.
And gritty tales of urban crime.
To a pair of love stories that will haunt you and enchant you.
We'll take you behind the scenes to meet the stars.
And you'll get an inside look at our distinctive style of filmmaking.
Join us for HBO premiere films Coming Attractions. Monday.
You make me cry, I can't break away.
and no one knew they existed. Not until the terror started.
They started following me. I'd come home at night. It felt like people had been in my house. It was like they were playing a game with me.
No one knew how to stop them. No one knew if they could be stopped.
Now they want Elizabeth too.
Once the terror begins, no one can stop. The strange invaders, except maybe you, tonight on HBO.
On the stage of London's Royal Albert Hall, one of rock's greatest duos reunites for the first time in 10 years for an event that will make music history.
It's good to be back. Little Susie, wake up. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Here he comes, that's Gandhi's clown.
After a decade apart, they're together again to sing their timeless hits in a triumphant performance. And an HBO exclusive. The Everly Brothers Reunion Concert, Monday.
Attorney Frank Galvin, strictly small time and hardly ever sober. He's a client's nightmare who has one last chance.
I got you a good case. It's a moneymaker.
They gave her the wrong anesthetic. They turned the girl into a vegetable. They killed her and a kid, and you caught him.
What would you and your client take right now, this very minute, to walk out of here and let this damn thing drop?
My client can't walk, Your Honor.
This man's scared to death to go to court. We only have to call his bluff.
I'm going to do the best that I can for you and your sister.
I got to find out from the other side that they offered $200,000.
Wouldn't turn down the offer if I thought I couldn't win the case.
Nominated for 5 Academy Awards.
I had a witness disappear on me.
Paul Newman in the most inspired role of his career.
Your Honor, with all due respect, if you're going to try my case for me, I wish you wouldn't lose it. I have no sympathy for you.
Have you reached a verdict?
The verdict comes in Monday on HBO.
You're watching HBO, America's leading pay TV network.
Who said pro football is a team sport? Dan Marino launched 5 touchdown passes in the Dolphins' easy win over the shell-shocked Redskins. Mark Gastineau registered 4 sacks against the Colts, a just cause for celebration. Well, sort of. When Andrews went down, Gerald Briggs stepped in, and 202 yards later, Atlanta had a big win over the Saints. And Phil Simms threw for 409 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Giants outlasted the Eagles. With heroics like that, it's no wonder today's individual stars command such high salaries. Nick and I were born just a little bit too early.
And now from our HBO studios in New York, here are your hosts, Len Dawson and Nick Bonacani.
The first week of the season is history. Welcome, everybody, to Inside the NFL. The newest addition to our show this year is called Super Poll to the Super Bowl. And later on in the show, we'll give you the results of last week's question. Should the Steelers have signed Franco Harris? Our NFL cover story takes a close look at Les Steckel, the young, tough-minded ex-Marine who's now head coach of the Vikings. Our NFL record book looks at the brilliant career of Terry Bradshaw. And fortunately for all of us, because of the satellite, Terry is going to be joining us on the show. Speaking of Terry, Nick, maybe the Steeler fans would like him to reconsider his retirement plans since the Chiefs beat them quite handily.
Well, they sure could use his leadership, Lamb, but maybe not his arm, because the two quarterbacks who did play, David Woodley and Mark Malone, threw for over 450 yards, but in a losing cause. Already after the first week, all we're talking about are quarterbacks. Their highs and their lows. There are some lows. Richard Todd looks like he carried his interception problem down to New Orleans. He was picked off 3 times. Tommy Kramer, Vince Ferragamo, looks like they fell asleep at the wheel. And how about the Bucks' Jackie Thompson? He crashed that Buck offense. He was intercepted 4 times. But there were some highs. Phil Simms of the Giants, he was really sizzling. Then you have Gary Hogaboom down in Dallas. He made Tom Landry look like a genius. And Danny Marino, you are a genius.
Nick, the people that you're talking about who had miserable starts, at least in week 2, have a chance to redeem themselves. But some of the teams are really hurting because of injuries. The Chiefs, for example, lost both of their starting offensive tackles because of knee problems, Matt Herkenhoff and David Lutz. Lutz is out for the year. And the wide receiver of the Cowboys, Tony Hill, separated his shoulder. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. Even tough Jack Lambert got hurt. He broke a toe. He's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. But the most devastating, Seattle, when they lost their great running back, Kurt Warner, he is out for the year.
One guy you did forget, not because of an injury, but he's out because of a contract dispute. That's tight end Kellen Winslow of the San Diego Chargers, and he's sitting at home. Another 49er is Fred Dean. He's in the same boat as Kellen Winslow. He wants a new contract, and he's really deserted that 49er pass rush. But because of the performance of this man here, Wendell Tyler, and that potent 49er offense, they were able to overcome the absence of Dean.
In a highly touted rematch of last year's playoff between the NFC Western and Central Division champions, the 49ers and Lions, Detroit sought revenge for the loss that ended their season. Throughout most of the afternoon, the Lions produced the big plays. None bigger than newly named starting quarterback Gary Danielson's 49-yard strike to Leonard Thompson. The touchdown tied the game at 27 late in the 4th quarter and fueled the Lions' hopes of revenge. But with just 4 seconds showing, Ray Wershing kicked a 22-yard field goal that gave the boys from the Bay City a narrow 3-point win and left the Lions wondering what it takes to beat Bill Walsh's 49ers. In Chicago's Soldier Field, Walter Payton began his historic assault on Jim Brown's all-time rushing record with a 61-yard day against Tampa Bay. But it was the much-maligned Bucks who set off the early fireworks. Number 87, Gerald Carter, scored on a 74-yard bomb. But even when John McKay's men managed to get into the end zone, the Bears' torrid pass rush was clearly evident. Finally, a quartet of sacks and numerous quarterback pressures produced 6 interceptions that turned the tide toward Chicago. This one by number 90, linebacker Al Harris, led to a touchdown. In his 3rd season, Jim McMahon is now firmly entrenched as the starting quarterback. His fine play fake suckered 2 Buccaneer linebackers and enabled number 9 to roll right and score on the beautifully executed bootleg. It was the first opening day win for Chicago since 1979. Significantly, that was the last time the team made the playoffs. In Green Bay, opening day marked the return of another superhero from the Packers' glory days. Coach Forrest Gregg vowed to put muscle in the Pack's porous defense, and the Cardinals' O.J. Anderson bore the brunt of the green and gold's newfound fury. O.J. was held to just 51 yards in 18 attempts, and Green Bay's top draft pick, defensive end Alfonso Carricker, number 76, proved he's ready for Gregg's tough defensive approach. Despite this, Neil Lomax and the Cardinals piled up 260 air yards, including touchdown passes to Roy Green and Pat Tilley, number 83. But the most spectacular receiver on the field wore uniform number 80. James Lofton had the 22nd 100-yard game of his career, and Lynn Dickey and the Packer attack had just enough firepower to nip the Cardinals by a single point, 24-23. For St. Louis, it's obviously not in the cards. They haven't won on opening day since 1976. Green Bay enjoyed its 5th straight successful opener, its first under Forrest Gregg.
How often have you heard the expression, "I'd rather be lucky than good"? Forrest Gregg was probably saying that after that one-point victory over the Cardinals. Nick, Gregg's #1 priority had to be rebuild the defense. It has not happened as of yet. Defensively, they gave up over 400 yards to the Cardinals, while offensively, the team that scored so many points and set so many records last year could muster only 266 yards. Like I said, I'd rather be lucky than good.
I know a team that's going to need an awful lot of luck to win any games this year. That's the Indianapolis Colts. On Sunday at the Hoosier Dome, they gave a sellout crowd the opportunity to watch them bumble, stumble, and fumble the game away.
Well, you know, Nick, I saw all 4 of the preseason games with the Colts, and Frank Kush had 2 priorities. One, find a quarterback who could win. Pagel has been his starter, and in 5 games, he's yet to throw a touchdown pass. Secondly, he wanted some offensive tackles to...
Pain reliever hospitals use most.
No one ever asks, do you want leafy greens with that?
I'll have a double cheeseburger, fries, and coffee.
Well, sometimes it's hard to eat right.
$95.
That's why GNC...